Palestine and Israel finally gathered the courage to speak about this because my religion and my upbringing tells me that if you are a person with the mic, that mic comes with the great responsibility. And if there are not much, but even 100 people are watching my videos, then I should at least try to put something out which is true, at least do some research before putting something out. But this scenario, the genocide that is currently going on between Palestine and Israel, this this topic doesn't have any kind of black and white scenarios or black and white conclusions, but people with the mic need to take their sides. Need to take the sides and they need to speak up because we are not speaking up enough. This is not about Israel. This is not about Palestine. This is about the genocide that is currently happening. If we go back a bit and try to stay with the basic objective of this channel, which is history, we should start from the beginning. And if not from the beginning, I'll try to start from a point from which everyone can have an idea that what is currently going on and why and how it all started. So how it all started. Palestinians refer to it as al-Nakba, which translates as the catastrophe. It refers to the mass exodus of 750,000 Arabs from Palestine. Most people believe it began in 1948, but Al-Nakba began decades earlier. In 1799, during the French invasion, Napoleon offered Palestinian land to the Jewish people under French protection, which was also the way of establishing French presence in the region. World War I happens and it brings the establishment of Palestine mandate. British colonial power began its plan of creating a Jewish state on the Palestinian land. Zionist movements at that time played a big role in supporting the mass migration of Jews to Palestine. I would copy someone else's words here and bluntly say that Britain had no moral and political right to promise a land which belonged to Arabs in the first place to another people. Do you know Arthur James Balfour, by the way? He was the British Foreign Secretary in 1917 and he declared British support for a national home for the Jewish people. This was done via letter to Baron Rothschild, and he was a leader of Zionist movement. This letter was endorsed by then Prime Minister David Lloyd, who became a Zionist in 1915. It was a clear victory for the Zionist movements. What happens though? What happens if you do this with any country? Let me tell you what happens. Resistance happens. And that's exactly what Palestinians showed. They purchased lands for the Zionist movements, displaced tens of thousands of Arabs from their homes. Entire process was facilitated by the British. In 1935, Al-Qassam was surrounded by British forces and was killed along with some men. In 1939, British smashed the rebellion. The Palestinians found themselves fighting not just one enemy, but two at the same time, the British colonial forces and Zionist militia group. Do you know what Zionism is or Zionism is? It is basically a movement for the reestablishment. And I cannot imagine reestablishing something without the use of violence, whether before or after the establishment of the State of Israel. It was all planned. Do you think it was all happening and Israel was the only culprit? No, it was all planned from the start. According to a Palestinian historian, Ilan Pape, a small group of Zionist leaders and military commanders met regularly for a whole year planning the ethnic cleansing of Palestine they did not decide about. Zionist attacks on British and Arabs escalated, and the British decided to hand over the mess they created in the first place to the newly found United Nations, a group of bold people who succumbed to the false gods of this world. As the day May 14th, 1948, selected by the British for their Palestine mandate to expire, approached, Zionist forces hastened their efforts to seize Palestinian land. In April 1948, the Zionists captured Haifa, one of the biggest Palestinian cities, and subsequently set their eyes on Haifa. On the same day, British forces formally withdrew. David Ben-Gurion, then head of the Zionist movement agency, proclaimed the establishment of the State of Israel. Overnight, the Palestinians were stateless. The world's two great powers, the United States and the Soviet Union, immediately recognized Israel as a separate country. As the Zionists continued their ethnic cleansing campaign against the Palestinians, war broke out between neighboring Arab countries and the new Zionist states. 1949, over 700,000 Palestinians had been made refugees and more than 13,000 had been killed by the Israeli military. The UN continued to push for an armistice deal between Israel and those Arab countries with whom it was at war. Bernadette was replaced by his American deputy, Rolf Bunch. Negotiations led by Bunch between Israel and the Arab states resulted in the latter conceding even more Palestinian land to the newly found Zionist state. In May 1949, Israel was admitted to the United Nations and its grip over 78% of Palestine. Historic Palestine was consolidated. The remaining 22% became known as the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Anyone with this much sense would agree with me that Palestinian Nakba did not end in 1948 or 1949. The ethnic cleansing of historic Palestine is still happening, and so too is Palestinian resistance. Expelling people from their home is a war crime, as well as preventing them from returning. Israel didn't just commit a war crime in 1948, but continues to commit one to this day. I'm not gonna block any comments on any of my videos. This is a free space. Feel free to share your opinion in the comment section below. And please speak up. We are not speaking up enough. And it's high time we do, as I said in the start. This is not about Israel. This is not about Palestine. This is about the humanity. This is about the genocide, which is the lot of kids, women, and everyone is falling victim to. This is about the genocide. This is about the people. This is about the greatest powers of this world who are supporting this genocide. Speak up. We are not speaking up enough, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.